Hello, Murray Newlands at South by Southwest in Austin with Joel Comm. Joel, how are you doing?
I'm well, Murray. How are you?
Very good, thank you. So you are a blogger, social media influencer. You produce a lot of products of your own. As an entrepreneur getting it started today, what would be your advice?
Well, first of all, you got to have a big dream, right?
Okay.
Got to have some sort of dream. It's not just about making money. I believe when people are using their God-given passions, talents, skills, abilities, personality, that they're designed to bring a unique value to the world. And that is going to be tied, that's going to be infused to something that's coming from your heart that you really want to do. Nothing wrong with making money. I just think the shortest way to do it is to tie it in something that really matters to you.
So how have you found that? Because it's not always obvious to the person trying to do that. How have you found that? How did it come about? And then how have you translated that into a business?
Well, multiple businesses really over the years. You know, as an entrepreneur, I think it's in our blood that we need to be willing to take risks, which means we need to be willing to fail. That we don't that's not something that we take personally if it doesn't go the way we want to. It means we step up to the plate again and again. And for me, it's translated into whatever it is that I'm interested in at that time. So back in 1995, I built my first website, worldvillage.com, based on software reviews from a parent's perspective. 1995, there was only 18,000 websites in the world. We didn't know what we were doing, but I built the site. In 1997, I was into, well, I've always been into games, but I partnered with a programmer and we created a multiplayer game site called classicgames.com. Well, that translated into success when Yahoo purchased it and it became Yahoo Games. And again and again and again, there's just one thing after another that I have followed my particular passion, desire, interest in, and turned it into something that was then profitable.
What are your tips if you've got that idea for actually making that happen and then growing a fan base, growing that user base? What are some key things that you do there?
Well, the place that most people fail is right at the beginning. They fail to start.
Okay.
You have to start. They hear the voices in their own head, or they hear from friends or family that say that's stupid, that's silly, you can't do that. They're worried about the money. They have all these different fears, and they don't have a good support system around them. So the number one way people fail is they never get started. If you're willing to step out of the boat to try to walk on water, as it were, that's how the miracle happens. You got to be willing to take that leap of faith and say, I'm going to do this. I don't know everything that I need to know, and I never will, but I'm going to learn along the way, and I'm going to surround myself with people who will support me, and then you start. Nike had it right. Their campaign is the ultimate campaign for anybody going into business. Just do it.
Now, I was speaking to Guy Kawasaki earlier, and he was saying
I've heard of him.
You've heard of him. He was saying he's a big fan of
me.
Among many other things.
Yeah.
So, but also, he'll create his business model, he'll post it, he'll create the early drafts, he'll post it, and then he'll create the sort of minimal viable product, and then he'll launch that and see what the reaction is. How do you feel about that process?
Just got hit with some cigarette smoke there. Hey, if it works for him, look, there's not any one single way to do things. There's not a right way. You have to figure out what works for you. It's like weight loss. You can't just plug and chug everybody into the same program. You have to figure out what works for you. So I say if that works for Guy, there's going to be some that can replicate that template. I have my own way of doing things, and it's not for everybody.
What is your way of doing things?
I call it fly by the seat of my pants. I look at, I take my pail and my shovel, and I look at the different sandboxes, and if something interests me as I'm walking, around, I'm like, I want to play in that box a little bit. That looks interesting. So like when the iPhone first came out, I bought one, and then a year later when they said the software development kit was available, I said to my team, we're going to make apps. This looks like fun. Let's make apps. And of course, as a result of that, we made an app that went to #1 in the world and still sells more than 5 years later.
Fantastic. If people want to find out more and follow you, how do they do that?
joelcomm.com, and COMM is my last name. Yes, it is my real name. I didn't change it. Or you could find me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all Joel Comm.
Joel, thank you very much.
Thanks, Murray.
Have a great show.
See ya.
I'm Murray Newlands. I'll see you next time.